A new study shows a keto diet is more effective than a low-fat diet for elderly population. And not only does it do that, but it gives us a wonderful example of how we can interpret sort of real-world studies compared to highly controlled scientific experiments that control only one variable. I'm Dr. Brett Scher, the medical director at DietDoctor.com, and that was a bit of a long introduction, but I think this study really has a lot of implications of ways to learn. One, to know, does very low-carb diets or do very low-carb diets work just as well for the older population as they do for younger population? And the study says absolutely yes, they work better than low-fat. But also, it really brings up a great example about these real-world studies. So let's talk about this. So it was published in Nutrition and Metabolism. What they did was they took patients who are over 60 and who were obese, and they randomized them to a low-carb diet or a low-fat diet. Now, what they aimed for was low carb, carbs less than 10%, protein 25%, 65% fat. So pretty solid low-carb diet, not one of these pseudo low-carb diets that we often see in the literature, a real low-carb diet. And then a low-fat diet, which was 55% carbs. And what they found was after just 8 weeks, so only 8 weeks, the low-carb group lost 13 pounds compared to only 2 pounds for the low-fat group. Pretty big difference. They also lost more fat mass, 9 pounds of fat versus only 1.8 pounds of fat. And then they also lost more visceral fat, the visceral adipose tissue. So pretty impressive. And then from a health standpoint, they saw improvements in the insulin and what's called the HOMA-IR, which is a measurement of insulin resistance, as well as HDL and triglycerides. So what we expect to see from low-carb diets, what we've seen again and again, but nice to see that it works in patients or in people over age 60. Not that we would necessarily expect it to be any different, but it's always nice to have little points of confirmation in different groups and different age groups. But here's one of the things about the study. There was no actual control. They weren't actually fed the food. They were just instructed on what to eat. So it turns out the low-carb group also had 30% of their calories from protein, whereas the low-fat group had a much lower amount of protein. And the low-carb group naturally ate fewer calories than the low-fat group. So you can interpret this one of two ways. You can say, oh, look, it's not a fair trial because the low-carb group ate fewer calories, had more protein, was more satiating, and therefore, how do we know if it was the low-carb or if it was just the calorie restriction, right? And that's a perfectly fair assessment. But the other way to look at it is to say, look what happens when people just go on a low-carb diet. They naturally eat fewer calories and higher protein, and they're more satiated, and they lose more weight, right? So it's looking at the same problem from two different perspectives. Now, if you're a scientist and you want to prove whether it is the carbohydrates or not that are making the difference, and that's all you want to prove, then you do one of these metabolic ward studies where you lock people in a ward. But of course, you have to monitor them for a long period of time, longer than the 2-week studies that we've talked about before. But that's how you do that. If you're a clinician, if you're a healthcare practitioner, wanting to know how your patients are going to react when you put them on a low-carb diet, or if you're an individual wondering what's going to happen when I start a low-carb diet, is it something I can do long-term? Is it going to have lots of other benefits? Then you want these real-world studies. And that's why I guess my bias is clearly coming through here. I prefer these real-world studies because what I want to know is when I'm sitting across from a patient or a client, if I'm going to recommend a diet, how are you more likely going to react to that diet? And if your reaction is feeling full, getting adequate nutrition and protein, and naturally reducing your caloric intake so that you lose weight, lose fat, lose adipose tissue, that is a win-win-win. That's exactly what I want. And that gets into sort of this debate about the whole nutritional guidelines, right? And hopefully you've watched my podcast with both Nina Teicholz and Adele Haidt. Adele really put sort of a new perspective on these nutritional guidelines. And she's right in the sense that it wasn't the low-fat diet recommended in the guidelines that led to the obesity crisis. It was sort of the inability to follow that diet, right? And you can argue whether it matters, whether it's splitting hairs, but from this perspective, it makes a difference because the real-world study of that diet basically showed that people do not adhere to it. And industry swooped in and we started eating these heart-healthy, quote-unquote, high-carb, high-caloric, high-sugar snack foods because we're emotional human beings. We have hungers, we have cravings. But if you can have a diet that's proven to reduce those and lower your caloric intake, that's a huge win. So I like to not get too far out of my soapbox, but you can see my point of why these real world studies are so important. So low carb keto diet works in the elderly population and works in a real world study by helping you reduce your caloric intake, lose fat mass. Most importantly, weight loss is not weight loss. It's not all the same. You want to lose fat mass and retain lean body mass. And also improve your metabolic health. And that's everything that was shown. So links to the study and the post that I wrote on dietdoctor.com. You'll find those links below. And while you're down there, click the subscribe button and the like button so you'll get more updates from us. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good day.